Worstward Ho by Samuel Beckett. On, say on, be said on, somehow on, till know how on, say know how on. Say for be said, missaid, from now say for missaid. Say a body where none, no mind, where none, that at least, a place where none, for the body to be in, move in, out of, back into, no out, no back, only in, stay in, on in, still. All of old, nothing else ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail better. First the body, no. First the place, no. First both. Now either, now the other, sick of the either, try the other. Sick of it, back sick of the either, so on, somehow on, till sick of both. Throw up and go, where neither. Till sick of there, throw up and back. The body again where none, the place again where none. Try again, fail again, or better worse. Fail worse again, still worse again, till sick for good. Throw up for good, go for good, where neither for good, good and all. It stands. What? Yes. Say it stands. Had to up in the end and stand. Say bones. No bones, but say bones. Say ground. No ground, but say ground. So as to say pain. No mind in pain. Say yes. That the bones may pain till no choice but stand. Somehow up and stand. Or better worse remains. Say remains of mine where none to permit of pain. Pain of bones till no choice but up and stand. Somehow up, somehow stand. Remains of mine where none for the sake of pain. Here of bones, other examples if needs must. Of pain, relief from, change of. All of nothing. Nothing else ever, but never so failed, worse failed, with care never worse failed. Dim light source unknown, no minimum, no nothing no. Too much to hope, at mere minimum, mere most minimum. No choice but stand, somehow up and stand, somehow stand, that, or groan. The groan so long as its way. No groan, simply pain, simply up. A time when try how, try see, try say, how first it lay, then somehow knelt, bit by bit. Then on from there, bit by bit, till up at last, not now. Fail better worse now. Another. Say another, head sunk on crippled hands, vertex vertical. Eyes clenched, seat of all, germ of all. No future in this. Alas, yes. It stands. See in the dim void how at last it stands. In the dim light source unknown, before the downcast eyes, clenched eyes, staring eyes, clenched, staring eyes. That shade, once lying, now standing. That a body? Yes. Say that a body, somehow standing in the dim void. A place where none. A time when try see, try say, how small, how vast, how if not boundless bounded, whence the dim, not now, no better now, unknow better now. Now only know out of. No knowing how, no only know out of, into only. Hence another place where none. Whither once, whence no return, no place but the one. None but the one where none. Whence never once in, somehow in, beyondless, thinsless there, thitherless there, thinsless, thitherless there. Where? Then but there see. See for be seen, misseen. From now see for be misseen. Where then? But there see now. First back turn the shade a stand. In the dim void, see first back turn the shade a stand. Still. Where then? But there see now another, bit by bit, an old man and child, in the dim void, bit by bit, an old man and child. Any other would do as ill. Hand in hand with equal plod they go, in the free hands, no. Free empty hands, backs turned both bowed with equal plod they go. The child hand raised to reach the holding hand. Hold the old holding hand, hold and be held. Plod on and never recede, slowly with never a pause. Plod on and never recede. Backs turned, both bowed. Joined by held joining hands. Plod on as one shade, another shade. Head sunk on crippled hands, clenched staring eyes. At in the dim void shades, one stand at rest. One old man and child at rest. Plodding on. Any others would do as ill, almost any, almost as ill. They fade, now the one, now the twain, now both. Fade back, now the one, now the twain, now both. Fade? No. Sudden go, sudden back, now the one, now the twain, now both. Unchanged. Sudden back unchanged. Yes, say yes. Each time unchanged, somehow unchanged till no. Till say no. Sudden back changed, somehow changed. Each time, somehow changed. The dim, the void, gone to, back to, no, say no, never gone, never back till yes, till say yes, gone to, back to, the dim, the void, now the one, now the other, now both, sudden gone, sudden back unchanged, sudden back unchanged, yes, say yes, each time unchanged, somehow unchanged till no, till say no, sudden back changed, somehow changed, each time, somehow changed. First sudden gone the one, first sudden back unchanged. Say now unchanged, so far unchanged, back turned, head sunk, vertex vertical in hat, cocked back of black brim alone, back of black greatcoat cut off mid-thigh, kneeling, better worse kneeling, say now kneeling, from now kneeling, could rise but to its knees, sudden gone, sudden back unchanged, back turned, head sunk, dark shade on unseen knees, still. Next sudden gone the twain, next sudden back. Say now unchanged, so far unchanged, backs turned, heads sunk, dim hair, dim white and hair so fair that in that dim light, dim black, black great coats to heels, dim black boot heels. Now the two right, now the two left, as on with equal plod they go, no ground, plod on, as void, dim hands, dim white. Two free and two as one, so sudden gone, sudden back, unchanged as one dark shade plod, unreceding on. The dim, far and wide the same, high and low, unchanging, say now, unchanging. Whence? No knowing, no saying, say only such dim light as never, on all. Say a grot in that void, a gulf, then in that grot or gulf such dimmest light as never. Whence no knowing, no saying. The void unchanging, say now unchanging, void were not the one, the twain, so far were not the one and twain, so far the void. How try say? How try fail? No try, no fail, say only. First the bones, on back to them, praying since first said, unforesaid remains, the ground, the pain, no bones, no ground, no pain, why up, unknown, at all costs, unknown. If ever down, no choice but up if ever down, or never down, forever kneeling, better forever kneeling, better worse forever kneeling, say from now, forever kneeling, so far from now, forever kneeling, so far, the void. Beyond the staring eyes, stare where they may, far and wide, high and low, that narrow field, know no more, see no more, say no more, that alone, that little much of void alone. On back to unsay, void can go, void cannot go. Save dim go, then all go, all not already, till dim back, then all back. All not still gone. The one can go, the twain can go, dim can go, void cannot go, save dim go, then all go. On back better worse to fail, the head said seat of all, germ of all, if of all of it too. Where if not there it too? There, in the sunken head, the hands, the eyes, shade with the other shades, in the same dim, the same narrow void, before the staring eyes, were it two, if not there too? Ask not, no, ask in vain, better worse so. The head. Ask not if it can go, say no, on asking no, it cannot go, save dim go, then all go. Oh, dim go, go for good, all for good, good and all. Whose words? Ask in vain, or not in vain if say no knowing. No saying, no words for him whose words, him, one. No words for one whose words, one, it. No words for it whose words, better worse so. Something not wrong with one, meaning the kneeling one, from now one for the kneeling one, as from now two for the twain, the as one plodding twain, as from now three for the head is first said mislaid. So from now, for to gain time, time to lose, gain time to lose, as the soul wants, the world wants. Something not wrong with one, then with two, then with three, so on. Something not wrong with all. Far from wrong, far, far from wrong. The words, too, whosoever. What room for worse? How almost true they, almost sometimes almost ring. They wanting in inanity. Say the night is young, alas, and take heart. Or better worse, say still a watch of night at last to come. A rest of last watch to come. And take heart. First one. First try fell better one. Something there badly not wrong. Not that as it is not bad. The no face bad. The no hands bad. The no, enough. A pox on bad. Mere bad. Way for worse. Pending worse still. First worse. Mere worse. Pending worse still. Add, never. Bow it down. Be it bowed down. Deep down. Hid in hat gone. More back gone, great coat cut off higher. Nothing from pelvis down, nothing but bowed back, topless, baseless hind trunk, dim black, on unseen knees, in the dim void, better worse so, pending worse still. Next try fell better too, the twain, bad as it is, bad the no. First back onto three. Not yet to try worsen, simply be there again. There in that head, be it again. That head in that head, clenched eyes clamped to it alone. Alone? No, two. To it too. The sunken skull, the crippled hands, clenched staring eyes, be that shade again, in that shade again, with the other shades, worsening shades in the dim void. Next. First how all at once in that stare, the worsened one. The worsening too, and what yet to worsen? To try to worsen itself, the dim, the void, all at once in that stare, clenched eyes clamped to all. Next too, from bad to worsen, try worsen, from merely bad, add, never. The boots, better worse bootless, bare heels, now the two right, now the two left right, on, barefoot unreceding on, better worse so, a little better worse than nothing so. Next, the so said seat and germ of all, whose hands, that head, that near to ring, away, full face from now, no, hands, no face, skull and stare alone, seen and seer of all. On, stare on, say on, be on, somehow on, anyhow on, till dim gone, at long last gone, all at long last gone, for bad and all. For poor, best, worst, and all. Dim whence unknown, at all costs unknown, unchanging, say now unchanging, far and wide, high and low. Say a pipe in that void, a tube sealed, then in that pipe or tube that self-same dim, old dim, whenever what else? Where all always to be seen, of the nothing to be seen, dimly seen, nothing ever unseen, of the nothing to be seen, dimly seen, worse than that? Next, the so said void, the so missaid, that narrow field rife with shades, well, so missaid, shade-ridden void, how better, worse, so missay. Add others, add, never. Till if needs must, nothing to those so far, dimly so far, them only lessen, but with them, as they lessen others, as they worsen, if needs must, others to lessen, to worsen, till dim go, at long last go, for worst and all. On, somehow on, anyhow on. Say all gone, so on. In the skull, all gone. All? No, all cannot go, till dim go. Say then, but the two go, in the skull one and two gone, from the void, from the stare, in the skill, all save the skull gone, the stare, alone in the dim void, alone to be seen, dimly seen, in the skull, alone to be seen, the staring eyes, dimly seen, by the staring eyes, the others gone, long sudden gone, then sudden back, unchanged. Say now unchanged, first one, then two, of first two, then one, or together, then all together, then all again together. The bowed back, the plodding twain, the skull, the stare, all back in the skull together. Unchanged, stare clamped to all, in the dim void. The eyes, time to. First on back to one say dim can go, somehow on back, dim cannot go. Dim to go must go for good, true, then dim can go, if but for good. One can go not for good. Two, three no, if not for good. With dim gone for good, void no, if not for good. With all gone for good, dim can worsen, somehow worsen. Go no, if not for good. The eyes, time to try worsen, somehow try worsen, unclench, say staring open, all white and pupil, dim white. White? No. All pupil, dim black holes, unwavering gaping, be they so said, with worsening words. From now so, better than nothing, so bettered for the worse. Still, dim, still on. So long as still dim, still somehow on, anyhow on, with worsening words, worsening stare for the nothing to be seen, at the nothing to be seen, dimly seen, as by now, by way of somehow, on where in this nowhere, all together? All three together. Were there all three, as last were seen? Bowed back alone, barefoot plodding twain, skull and lidless stare, where? In the narrow vast. Say only vast apart, in that narrow void, vast of void apart. Worse, better later. What? When words gone? None for what then? What say by why? Way of somehow, on somehow, with sight to do. With less of sight, still dim and yet, no. No how so on. Say better worse words gone, when no how on. Still dim, and no how on. All seen, and no how on. What words for what then? None for what then. No words for what when words gone. For what when no how on. Somehow, no how on. Worsening words whose unknown, whence unknown, at all costs unknown. Now for to say as worse they may say only they. Dim void shades all they. Nothing save what they say, somehow say. Nothing save they. What they say, whosoever, whensoever say. As worse they may fail ever worse to say. Remains of mind then still, enough still, some who somewhere somehow, enough still, no mind and no words? Even such words, so enough still, just enough still, to joy, just enough still to joy that only they, only. Enough still not to know when they say, not to know what is the words it says say. Says? Secretes. Say better worse secretes. What is it the words it secretes say? What the so said void, the so said dim, the so said shades, the so said seat and germ of all? Enough to know no knowing. No knowing what it is the words it secretes say. No saying. No saying what it is they somehow say. That said on back to try worse say the plodding twain. Praying since last words said, unforesaid remains. But what not on them praying? What seen? What said? What have all seen and said not on them praying? True. And yet, say worse, perhaps worst of all, the old man and child. That shade at last worse seen. Left, right, barefoot, unreceding on. They then, the words, back to them now for want of better on, and better fail. Worser failed that, perhaps, of all the least worse failed of all the worse failed shades, less worse than the bowed back alone, the skull and lidless stare, though they too for worse. But what not for worse? True. And yet, say first the worst, perhaps worst of all, the old man and child. Worst in need of worst in, blanks for no how on. How long? Blanks how long till somehow on. Again, somehow on. All gone when no how on. Time gone when no how on. Worse, less. By stretch more, worse for want of better, less, best. No, not best, best, worse. No, not best, worse. Not best, worse. Less best, worse. No, least best, worse. Least never to be not be brought. Never by not be nulled, unnullable least. Say that best worst, with least-ning words. Say least best worst, for want of worse or worse, unlessenable least best worst. The twain, the hands, held holding hands that almost ring. As when first said on crippled hands the head, crippled hands, they, there, then, the words. Here now held holding, as when first said, unsaid, when worse said, away, held holding hands, the empty too, away. No hands in the no, save for worse to say, somehow worse somehow to say, save for now still seen, dimly seen, dim white, two dim white empty hands in the dim void, so leastward on. So long as dim still, dim undimmed, or dim to dimmer still, to dim most dim, least most and dim most dim, utmost dim, least most and utmost dim, unworsenable worst. What words for what then? How almost they still ring, as somehow from some soft of mine they ooze, from it in it ooze. How all but uninane, to last unlessenable least, how loath to leasen, for then utmost dim to unutter least most, so little worse the old man and child. God held holding hands, they plod apart. Left, right, barefoot, unreceding on. Not worse, not worsen, yet the rift. Save for some, after no how, somehow worser on back to unsay clamp to all the stair. No, but from now to now, this, and now that. As now from worse and twain to next for worse alone, to skull and stare alone, of the two worse in want the skull praying since unsunk. Now say the four alone, no dome, temple to temple alone, clamp to it and stare alone the stair, bowed back alone, and twain blurs in the void, so better than nothing worse shade three from now. Somehow, again, on back to the bowed back alone. Nothing to show a woman's, and yet a woman's, oozed from softening soft the word woman's, the words old woman's, the words nothing to show bowed back alone. A woman's, and yet a woman's, so better worse from now that shade a woman's and an old woman's. Next fail, see, say, how dim, undim to worsen, how know, how save to dimmer still. But a shade, so as when, after know how somehow, on, to dimmer still, till dim most dim, best bad worst of all, save somehow undimmed worser still, ooze on back not to unsay, but say again the vasts apart. Say seen again, no worse again, the vasts a void apart, of all so far missaid, the worst missaid, so far. Not till know how worse missay, say it worse missaid. Not till, for good know how, on poor worst missaid. Longing, the so said mind, long lost to longing. The so missaid, so far, so missaid, dint of long longing. Lost to longing, long vain longing, and longing still, faintly longing still. Faintly, vainly longing still, for fainter still, for faintest. Faintly, vainly longing for the least of longing, unlessenable least of longing, unstillable vain least of longing still. Longing that all go, dim go, void go, longing go. Vain longing that vain longing go, said as missaid, whenever said, missaid. From now said alone. No more from now, now said and now missaid. From now said alone. Said for missaid, for be missaid. Back is on, somehow on, from back now alone. From now back alone. No more from now, now back and now back on. From now back alone. Back for back on. Back for somehow on. Back unsay better worse by no stretch more. If more dim, less light, then better worse no more dim. Unsaid, then better worse by no stretch more. Better worse may no less than less be more. Better worse what? The say? The said? Same thing, same nothing, same all but nothing. No once in past this now, no not none. When before worse the shades, the dim before more? When if not once? Once this alone the void, by no stretch more, by none less, one less till no more. Ooze back, try worse and blanks, those then when know how on, unsay then all gone, all not gone, only know how on. All not gone and know how on. All there is now when somehow on, the dim, the void, the shades, only words gone, till ooze again and on, somehow ooze on. Praying since last worse the stare, something there still far, so far from wrong, so far, far, far from wrong. Try better worse another stare when with words than when not. When somehow, than when no how, while all seen the same, no. Not all seen the same, seen other. By the same other stare seen other, when with words than when not. When somehow than when no how. How fail say how other seen. Less seen, less seen and seeing when with words than when not. When somehow, then when no how, stare by words dimmed, shades dimmed, void dimmed, dimmed. All there as when no words, as when no how, only all dimmed, till blank again. No words again, no how again, then all dim, stares undimmed that words had dimmed. Back unsay shades can go and come again. No, shades cannot go, much less come again. Nor bode old woman's back, nor old man and child, nor foreskull and stare. Blur, yes, shades can blur. When stare clamp to one alone, or somehow words again, go no nor come again, till dim if ever go, never to come again. Blanks for when words gone, when no how on. Then all seen is only then, undimmed. All undimmed that words dim. All so seen unsaid, no ooze then, no trace unsoft, from when it ooze again, in it ooze again, ooze alone for seen is seen with ooze, dimmed. No ooze for seen undimmed. For when no how on, no ooze for when ooze gone. Back, try worse and twain praying since last worse, since a twain. Two, once, so one. From now rift a vast of void atween, with equal plod still unreceding on, that little better worse, till words for worser still, worse words for worser still, praying, but what not praying? When not praying? No how, over words, again say what then when not praying? Each better worse for naught. No stilling praying, the shades, the dim, the void, all always faintly praying. Worse for naught. No less than when, but bad, all always faintly praying, gnawing to be gone. Less no good, worse no good, only one good, gone for good, till then no on. All gnaw on, to be gone. All save void, no, void too, unworsenable void, never less, never more, never since first said, never unsaid, never worse said, never, not knowing to be gone. Say child gone, as good as gone, from the void, from the stare, void then not that much more. Say old man gone, old woman gone, as good as gone, void then, not that much more again? No, void most when almost. Worst when almost. Less than? All shades as good as gone. If then, not that much more than, that much less than. Less, worse than. Enough. A pox on void. Or morable, unlessable, unworseable, ever most, almost void. Back to once so said to as one. Praying ever since not, long since last failed worse. Ever since vast atween. Say better worse now, all gone save trunks from now. Nothing from pelves down, from napes up, topless, baseless, hind trunks. Legless, plodding on, left, right, unreceding on. Stair clamp to stair, bowed backs, blurs and stare. Clamp to stair, two black holes, dim black. In through the skull, too soft. Out from soft through skull. Agape an unseen face. That the flaw? The want of flaw. Try better worse. Set in skull. Two black holes in foreskull. Or one. Try better still worse one. One dim black hole mid foreskull. Into the hell of all. Out from the hell of all. So better than nothing worse. Say stare from now. Stare outstared away to old man. Hind trunk unreceding on. Try better worse kneeling. Legs gone. Say better worse kneeling. No more if ever on. Say never on. Ever kneeling. Legs gone from stair stay. Better worse ever kneeling. Stare away to child and worsen same. Vast void apart old man and child. Dim shades on unseen knees. One blur, one clear, dim clear. Now the one, now the other. Nothing to show a child and yet a child. A man and yet a man. Old and yet old. Nothing but ooze. How nothing and yet. One bowed back, yet an old man's. The other, yet a child's, a small child's. Somehow again, and all in stare again. All at once as once. Better worse all. The three bowed down. The stare. The whole narrow void. No blurs, all clear, dim black. Black hole agape on all. Inletting all, outletting all. Nothing and yet a woman, old and yet old. On unseen knees. Stooped as loving memories. Some old gravestone stoop. In that old graveyard, names gone, and when to when, stoop mute over the graves of none. Same stoop for all, same vasts apart, such last state, latest state, still, till somehow, less in vain, worse in vain, all knowing to be naught, never to be naught. What were skull to go? As good as go. Into what then, black hole? From out? What then? What why of all? Better worse so? No. Skull better worse. What left of skull? Of soft. Worst why of all of all. So skull not go. What left of skull not go? Into it still the whole. Into what left of soft? From out what little left? Enough. Sudden all far. No move and sudden all far. All least. 3 pins, 1 pinhole in. Dim most dim. Vasts apart. At bounds of boundless void. Whence no farther. Best worst no farther. No how less. No how worse. No how not. No how on.